The stars looked calm, peaceful. But peace in the galaxy had become a dangerous illusion. For 5 years, Earth had followed every rule of the Galactic Peace Treaty. No military ships beyond patrol range, no planetary weapon tests, no expansion, without Council approval. And in return, the alien empires had promised peace. But peace was a lie. It started with a transmission, short, scrambled, and full of static. Commander Alec Rourke listened to it in the silent command room aboard the ESS Sentinel, Earth's newest orbital listening station. At first, it sounded like a system malfunction, just noise. But then, a voice. We trusted, and they burned us. Rourke leaned in. He ordered the comms officer to isolate the signal. The voice repeated, "They came in peace, then they opened fire." Everyone in the room froze. Rourke's eyes narrowed. "Where's this coming from?" The officer replied, "Outer Rim, sir, near the Tesselis trade zone, deep council space." That was a red flag. Humans weren't allowed near the Tesselis zone. The Galactic Council said it was a protected region, but Earth scouts had already suspected something darker was happening there. The voice cut out. Then another sound came through. Gunfire, screams, and then silence. 3 days earlier, Diplomatic Station 17, orbiting Venthol Ambassador Lena Hart stood in the golden halls of the station. She smiled politely at the tall alien figure before her, Counselor Dreve of the Valari Dominion. "We're honored to continue working with the Council," Lena said, offering the ceremonial crystal of alliance. Dreve smiled with his sharp, needle-like teeth. "Earth has proven itself useful." Lena hesitated at the word. Not trusted, not respected, just useful. Still, she nodded. "Our people want peace." But that night, while the Earth delegation slept in their quarters, hidden codes were transmitted from the station to unknown ships near the Outer Rim, and an order was given. Phase 1 approved. Earth defenses must be disabled. Begin infiltration. Back on Earth. Command Center. Geneva General Miles Tran read the incoming reports. 3 Earth outposts in deep space had gone dark. No signals. No escape pods. He looked at the map. All 3 were near the borders of the Valari Dominion. He tapped the desk. "What the hell is going on?" His aide replied, "Sir, the Council says it's just ion storms." Miles scowled. "The same ion storms that never existed last." Weak? He didn't believe it. Not for a second. Present, orbit above Earth, Rourke stood at the bridge of the Sentinel. He watched as more reports came in, ships missing, civilian colonies attacked, no official war declaration, just disappearances. Then something strange happened. A small pod, barely the size of a fighter, exited hyperspace near Earth. Its hull was cracked, burning. Life signs. Weak. The pod was pulled into a hangar. Inside was a single survivor, an alien, bleeding, one arm missing. He opened his eyes and said only one word: run. 10 hours later, the truth breaks. Earth's intelligence finally cracked. A hidden message buried in Council transmissions. It was a long-term plan, one Earth had never seen. The Galactic Council had never planned for peace. The treaty had been a smokescreen. While Earth dismantled its outer defenses, the Valari Dominion and 2 other empires were preparing a full-scale strike. Earth's weapons were outdated. Defense fleets were scattered. The betrayal was complete. But they made one mistake. They thought Earth would stay quiet. They thought humans were weak. They thought wrong. General Tran gave the order. Activate Protocol Ragnarok. No more waiting. No more peace. We take it all. And far below the Earth's surface, massive bunkers opened. Old war machines rose from the ground. Hidden fleets powered up. The humans were betrayed. But now, They were angry, and humanity had one final rule. If you come for our people, we will come for everything. The Alliance had always spoken of unity. They promised trade, peace, and shared technology. For decades, Earth believed them. But when the human delegation to the Central Alliance Council suddenly vanished, everything changed. At first, the Alliance claimed the ship had an engine malfunction. Then they said it was destroyed by pirates, but Earth's intelligence agencies intercepted a transmission, a private message not meant for humans. It contained a single phrase: "The humans are blind. Proceed as planned." General Aisha Raymond sat in silence inside Earth Command. Her fingers tapped the table slowly. She had seen the footage. She had read the intercepted messages. But what chilled her most was the surveillance footage from an Alliance shipyard, one where massive weapons were being loaded onto unmarked cruisers, all heading toward Seoul. "Is this a war fleet?" she asked aloud, eyes narrowing. "Yes," replied Admiral Graves. "And they're not aiming at Mars or Luna. Their trajectory is Earth." The betrayal was no longer theory. It was confirmed. Earth's High Council met in secret. The vote was unanimous. They would not wait for the Alliance to strike. Operation Iron Dawn was approved. While the public still believed peace held, behind the scenes, Earth's Black Ops teams were deployed across Alliance space. Their mission: find the missing delegation, uncover the Alliance's true plans, and, if possible, strike back first. On the icy moon of Urel, Agent Calvos and his team slipped into an underground data vault. The place was crawling with security, but Voss was silent, a shadow among shadows. They downloaded a file code-named Project Divide. The documents revealed everything. The Alliance never wanted peace. From the beginning, they had feared humanity's rise, our speed, our adaptability, and our terrifying potential for war. So they planned a slow takeover. Allies turned informants. Trade routes turned choke points. Treaties turned chains. But Earth had caught on too late. Or had they? As Cal transmitted the data back to Earth, he was spotted. A firefight broke out. Plasma bolts lit the dark corridors. Half his team died escaping. Cal reached the extraction point bleeding but smiling. "The galaxy is about to know what happens," he said into his comms, "when you stab humanity in the back." On Earth, General Raymond received the intel and stood. "All ships," she ordered, "prepare for Phase 2. In the darkness of deep space, fleets began to move. Silent, deadly, and very, very angry, because peace was dead and war was now humanity's answer. The silence of space was broken by Earth's war engines. For years, humans had traveled the stars in peace. Diplomats shook hands, scientists shared discoveries, and military ships, they were hidden, distant, quiet. But that time was over. Earth's response to the Alliance betrayal began with Fleet Shadow 9, a group of stealth warships that didn't exist on any Alliance registry. No flags, no markings, just black hulls and loaded weapons. Their target, the Telnar listening post, a space station hidden behind the red gas clouds of Ominar Prime. Inside the station, dozens of alien officers were tracking Earth's movements. They watched trade routes, they studied military buildups, and most importantly, they filtered communications, ensuring that certain truths never reached the public. But Fleet Shadow 9 came without warning. The Telnar never saw it coming. The first missile strike hit the station's main array. The second broke through its reactor shell. By the time alarms screamed, the walls were already melting. Escape pods launched blindly into space. Flames bloomed in every direction. Admiral Lorne, who commanded the fleet, didn't flinch. "Mission complete," he said coldly. Meanwhile, on Earth, the news was still hidden from the public. The government feared mass panic. But behind locked doors, something had shifted. No more treaties, no more handshakes. Earth's leaders activated Protocol Phoenix, a full military escalation across every colony, moon base, and deep space station. Humanity had once been outnumbered. Not anymore. On Titan, sleeper drone factories came online. Dozens of hunter-killer satellites launched from hidden silos. Each one carried weapons that could disable entire fleets in seconds. On Mars, Project Aegis was activated, shield arrays strong enough to block orbital bombardments. And on Earth, the skies turned black as fortress ships rose from underground bays, massive floating cities armed to the teeth. But the Alliance didn't stay quiet. 3 Alliance ships crossed into Earth's protected zone near Neptune. They claimed it was routine patrol. They demanded Earth stand down. General Aisha Raymond sent one message back. "You took our people. You lied. You schemed. Now you'll learn what humanity does to traitors." She gave no warning. Earth's ships moved in. In less than 2 minutes, the Alliance vessels were reduced to drifting metal. The final ship tried to run, only to vanish under a railgun blast so powerful it left a glowing line in space. Elsewhere, Agent Cal Voss, the man who had retrieved the secret Project Divide files, found himself deep inside enemy territory. With the help of an underground resistance of alien races also betrayed by the Alliance, Cal uncovered a horrifying truth. The Alliance wasn't trying to just control humanity. They wanted to replace us. Every colony, every ship, every planet Earth had touched, wiped clean, taken over. Operation Clean Sweep, they called it. Cal transmitted the proof, and that's when everything changed. Earth released the evidence galaxy-wide. Billions watched the leaked footage, politicians planning Earth's destruction, secret deals, and lists of targets that included even peaceful human cities. The galaxy reacted with shock. Some species protested, others began to whisper. A few, like the Darnak rebels, started rising against the Alliance from within. But Earth? Earth didn't wait. As General Raymond stood before her command screen, hundreds of red dots marked incoming fleets. She smiled grimly. "They wanted fire," she said. "Then we'll bring it." The war had begun, but this time, humanity wasn't the underdog. This time, they were the storm. The stars above Earth were quiet. Not a single ship left orbit. No diplomats, no trade, no answers. It had been 7 days since the Galactic Assembly received Earth's final message. It was just one line. "We are done speaking." Many empires laughed. Others grew nervous. The humans had always been strange, friendly but silent. When angry Ambassador Kor, representing the Valari Dominion, watched Earth's silence with unease. He had once walked through the green cities of Earth. The people had welcomed him with music, food, and smiles. Now, Earth had cut off everything. No signals, no data, not even background chatter. "Something is wrong," Kor said to his assistant, aboard the Valari cruiser Shadowlight. "Humans don't vanish like this." But the Assembly didn't care. The Krill Confederation, still celebrating the ruined peace treaty, held their fleets near Earth's border. Their plan was simple. Wait. For Earth to show weakness, then strike. "We broke their alliances," a Krill general said, smiling with sharp teeth. "Now, we break their world." But Earth wasn't weak. Earth was quiet. And the last time humanity went quiet, an entire pirate fleet disappeared in the void. No trace, no signal, no wreckage. In orbit above Mars, hidden from alien eyes, Earth's real response was unfolding. General Elena Rao stood on the command deck of the dreadnought Horizon Spear. Around her, dozens of warships floated in absolute silence. No engines burned, no lights blinked. Each ship ran cold, hidden behind Mars' magnetic shadow. This was Operation Dead Sky. "Targets?" she asked. "Confirmed," her officer replied. "Krill ships at Sector 38, Valari listening station at Titan, Council outpost near Alpha Gate." Elena looked at the hologram of Earth. "They think we're quiet because we're afraid," she said. "They forgot silence is what comes before the strike." She tapped a command. The ships awakened. At the Titan listening station, the Valari were bored. They expected months of nothing. Earth wouldn't attack, right? Then the stars blinked. One by one, ships uncloaked, too many to count. Before the Valari could even send a warning, the station exploded in blue fire. No survivors. The first blow had been struck. Back at the assembly, panic broke through the chambers. Who gave Earth permission to launch an attack? A Lurok counselor screamed. They didn't ask for permission, someone shouted. Ambassador Kor stood slowly. His eyes were wide with fear. They gave us one warning. We ignored it. The silence was never surrender. It was the last breath before the storm. The Krill fleet didn't expect resistance. They waited in orbit above planet Valtor 3, laughing as they replayed the broken peace treaty over and over again. Earth's silence to them was proof of fear, proof of defeat. But then, the stars behind them changed. One by one, small red lights appeared on their scanners. Dozens, then hundreds, then thousands. A Krill officer leaned forward. What are those? The fleet commander narrowed his eyes. Debris? Civilian satellites, maybe. The lights moved, straight toward them. Fast, too fast. The Horizon Spear dropped out of stealth, leading a swarm of Earth's warships. The Krill fleet was still forming battle lines when the first Terran missiles hit. Each missile split into hundreds of micro-warheads mid-flight, like a swarm of wasps, each one targeting weak points in the enemy hulls. The Krill defense shields cracked almost instantly, and then Earth's railguns opened fire. Blue streaks of magnetized tungsten ripped through space like lightning. Ships exploded silently in the vacuum, one after another, before the Krill could even send out a proper distress call. It was a massacre. Back on Earth, President Hale watched the live feed from a secure bunker deep beneath the Andes Mountains. He didn't smile. He didn't celebrate. He simply nodded. They tore up the treaty, he said. Now we tear apart their fleets. On the bridge of the Horizon Spear, General Elena Rao gave her next order. Begin planetary strike, she said calmly. Valtor 3 had long been a staging ground for Krill military operations, but now Earth's orbital cannons were ready. From high orbit, kinetic rods, massive metal cylinders, fell like rain. There were no explosions, no chemicals, no fire, just raw, unstoppable force. Each strike hit with the power of a small nuke. Cities turned to craters. Krill command bases disappeared into the crust. Supply lines were cut in seconds. The Krill didn't even know what hit them. Across the galaxy, assembly members watched the footage in shock. The Valari gasped. The Zarn closed their data feeds. Even the proud Virex, once enemies of Earth, said nothing. This wasn't just war. This was precision annihilation. The human fleets didn't just destroy, they erased. Every action was cold, calculated, efficient. They struck, then vanished. No chatter, no speeches, no mercy. Ambassador Kor whispered, "This is not the Earth we used to know." And in the ruins of Valtor 3, only one Krill ship survived. A small corvette, barely operational, limped through the wreckage field. Before its signal could reach the Krill homeworld, one last Terran drone appeared in its path. It didn't fire. It simply broadcast a message. "Next time, we come for your son." The message ended. The drone turned away, and the skies, once burning with fire, went silent again. The Galactic Council met in emergency session. The chamber floated above the gas giant Ulmara 9, hidden from most public eyes. Inside, panic ruled. Over. 100 species gathered, some trembling, some furious. Holograms showed the destruction of Valtor 3. The Krill delegate, covered in wounds and bandages, stood at the center. His voice shook with anger. "This was not retaliation," he growled. "It was extermination. Earth has declared war on every law this council ever wrote." Murmurs filled the chamber. Words like overreaction, uncontrolled force, and total war bounced between frightened delegates. The Valari diplomat stood next, calm but cold. We told you Earth was silent for a reason. You didn't listen. Then the chamber dimmed. A signal had arrived, unauthorized. A human. Ambassador Lyon stepped forward, his face calm, his tone sharp. He didn't ask for permission. You want justice? He said. Then understand this. Justice died when you allowed the Krill to murder Earth's allies and break the peace treaty. The council leader, High Speaker Thalix, raised a tentacle. You slaughtered a Krill world. No, Lyon said. We ended a threat. We didn't start this war, but we'll finish it, if pushed again. Someone in the council shouted, You destroyed cities! Innocents! Lyon didn't blink. They built military zones under hospitals. You call them innocents. We call them shields. We don't play that game. Gasps echoed through the chamber. The Virex warlord stood next. He had once fought humans and survived. He didn't argue. He simply asked, What do you want? Lyon's answer was quiet. Leave us alone. Silence. Don't send spies, don't send fleets, don't send messengers. Thalix narrowed, his eyes. And if we don't? Lyon smiled. Then we won't come to your chamber again. A map appeared behind him. It showed 12 destroyed Krill outposts, none of which had been publicly reported. You'll wake up one day, Lyon said, and realize your sun isn't shining anymore. On Earth, General Rao stood aboard the Horizon Spear as it hovered in stealth near another Krill-controlled system. A comm officer turned to her. Council sent an ultimatum, ma'am. They say to stand down or face judgment. Rao simply tapped. The glass, watching the stars. Let them judge. We already buried their executioner. Back on Ulmara 9, the Council dissolved into chaos. Some races wanted to sanction Earth. Others wanted to beg for peace, but none dared send a fleet, because deep down, they all knew something. The humans had waited, planned, and held back, and if pushed again, they would burn more than just skies. The Krill command fortress on Tornax Prime shook under the weight of panic. Admiral Vorak stood before a massive holomap. Red icons marked the locations of their lost outposts. One by one, they had vanished. No warning, no survivors. He slammed, his clawed fist on the console. Summon all remaining fleets. Call every war clan from the outer cradle. We will strike Earth directly. The room filled with war cries and furious roars. But one officer hesitated. Sir, she whispered. Our scouts on Drayan's Reach never reported back. Vorak blinked, then narrowed his eyes. Send reinforcements, now. 12 hours later, Krill warships dropped out of hyperspace near Drayan's Reach, a key system guarding the path to the Krill homeworld. But the system was dark, too quiet. The twin suns glowed over a blackened field of debris. Ships, broken, twisted, burned. The Krill reinforcements scanned the area. There were no survivors. Then, a human dreadnought uncloaked. Its hull was sleek and unscarred. Dozens of heavy railguns rotated into position. Energy cannons pulsed, waiting. Krill tried to jump back to hyperspace. But it was too late. A second human fleet emerged behind them, silent and ready. Inside the human flagship, Captain Elara Quinn gave the order. No broadcasts, no warnings, no mercy. The battle was over in 5 minutes. The Krill never even fired a shot. Back on Earth, President Hale stared at the mission feed from orbit. She turned to General Rao. That system was a warning? Rao nodded. And a message. To the Council? To everyone, Rao replied. Humanity doesn't wait for backup. We become the thing others run from. The Krill homeworld began evacuating civilians days later, but it was chaos. Supply ships overloaded. Transports crashed into each other. Infighting broke out across colonies. One Krill elder whispered to his grandson, They hunt in silence now, like predators who've learned patience. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, other species watched the footage. It leaked. First to smugglers, then to colonies, then everywhere. Footage of the human ships moving like ghosts, appearing inside enemy space, striking with precision, vanishing without trace. Fear spread faster than light, and in the deepest corners of the galaxy, some began to whisper, "This war is over. The Krill just don't know it yet." The Krill homeworld, Jator, braced for war. Every fortress was activated. Every war beast released from stasis. Every citizen, young or old, was handed a weapon. Admiral Vorak stood on the balcony of the high spire, staring at the clouds above, the capital. His voice echoed through the city's war channels. "We were the hunters. Now we are the hunted, but we will not fall." Below him, millions roared in response, but no one saw the fear in Vorak's eyes. Meanwhile, far above Jator, hidden in the shadows of its twin moons, the Earth fleet was already waiting. Captain Elara Quinn walked across the bridge of the ESS Nightbreaker, Earth's most advanced stealth dreadnought. Around her, holograms displayed Krill defenses, mapped, tagged, vulnerable. General Rao's voice came through the secure line. "Operation Eclipse is green. The Krill have no idea. Begin." Elara gave a quiet nod. "Release the ghost units." In the dead of night, nothing fell from the sky, because the Earth drones were already there. Nano-stealth pods had been placed across the Krill cities weeks ago by human infiltrators, undetectable, invisible. Suddenly, every Krill missile silo exploded. Defense turrets spun wildly, targeting their own. Power plants shut down. The sky turned black, not from smoke, but from the shadows of descending human warships. But Earth wasn't attacking for conquest. They were here for control. Admiral Vorak rushed into the command center only to find the main screen filled with a single message. "Surrender is the only way your people live." ESS Nightbreaker, Earth Defense Command, Vorak growled, raising his claws. But the second message hit harder. "We were here before your war began." His eyes widened. On screen, maps showed human forces already positioned in every key Krill system. Jator, Makresh, Rune Sector, even the deep vaults of the core hives. They had been surrounded the entire time. On the surface, panic spread. But strangely, no shots were fired. Human ships hovered, watching, waiting, not destroying, but proving a point. "We could end you, but we choose not to. Unless you force us." The Galactic Council gathered in secret. Whispers filled the chamber. "The Krill are finished. Earth played a longer game than we ever imagined. They didn't just win the war. They rewrote it." And in the silent halls of Jator's central shrine, the oldest Krill priest placed down his war staff. He looked at the stars and muttered, "We called them prey, but they are the storm." The Grand Council met in full session for the first time in a century. Inside the Hall of Unity, on the neutral world of Saros, leaders from 100 species shouted over each other. Some called for peace. Others screamed for war. But one voice silenced them all. Councillor Revek of the Varn Dominion stood tall, his red cloak dragging behind him. "Earth has gone too far. The humans now threaten balance. I demand we issue a full withdrawal order. Earth must leave Krill space at once." A moment of silence followed, then murmurs of agreement. Dozens of hands and claws were raised in support. The demand was made official. A message was sent directly to Earth. "Withdraw your fleets from Krill territory, return to your borders, or be sanctioned by the entire galaxy." But Earth didn't respond. Instead, Councillor Revek's ship, the Horizon Flame, was stopped mid-flight by something unexpected. A human dreadnought, not just one, 7 of them, surrounding his vessel like silent giants. No lights, no communication, just presence. Revek's crew panicked. "They're jamming our signals." "They're not attacking, they're watching us." Suddenly, the ship's main console lit up. A message appeared. Earth does not take orders from those who betrayed it. Revik's blood ran cold. Back in the Hall of Unity, the Council demanded answers, so Earth gave them one, a hologram activated in the center of the chamber. General Rao appeared, calm, cold, unshaken. When your empires let the krill burn Earth's colonies, when you stayed silent as billions of humans died, that was your choice. He paused, then added, This, what you're seeing now, is our choice. The council erupted into chaos, but Rao wasn't done. Behind him, the image shifted to a galaxy-wide star map. It highlighted every system with human presence. There were thousands. While your empires debated, we built, we prepared, we are. Not invading Krill's space, we already control it. He looked directly at the camera. Your maps are outdated. Your fleets are surrounded. Your time is up. Then the feed cut. In the silence that followed, the truth became clear. Earth had outmaneuvered them all. On Saros, panic spread among diplomats and ambassadors. Some called for surrender, others fled. But it was too late. Human stealth ships were already in Saros orbit, not attacking, just watching. The same message played in every language, across every channel. Humanity does not seek war, but we will not allow the galaxy to decide our fate, ever again. Back on Earth, people watched the moment unfold. No one celebrated, there were no cheers, because the message wasn't about power, it was about a promise. Never again. The last Varnak stronghold stood like a scar on the surface of Goran Prime. Black. Towers, ancient weapons, and a sky filled with storm clouds. It was the final place holding out against the wrath of Earth, and Earth had sent everything. The human fleet above was the largest ever assembled. Over 100 dreadnoughts, thousands of cruisers, and wave after wave of drop pods falling like rain. General Rain stood aboard the flagship Vindicator, his eyes locked on the burning surface below. This ends now, he said quietly. On the surface. The Varnak generals were panicking. Their communications had gone silent. Their fleets were dust. Even their own people had started fleeing the capital. "They won't stop!" screamed General Olorak. "We surrendered half our territory already." But no one cared anymore. The humans remembered everything. The betrayal, the broken peace, treaty, the bombings of Earth's colonies, and the mass graves on Titan. Mercy had died long ago. The ground began to tremble. Human tanks burst through the outer defenses. Troopers in black armor moved like shadows, using new tech the Varnak had never seen. Plasma nets, anti-gravity mines, even AI-guided rail cannons. Nothing survived contact. Inside the citadel at the heart of the Varnak capital, their leader, Chancellor Merlix, was trying to escape through the hidden tunnels beneath the throne room. He had once smiled during peace talks. He had once promised friendship. Now his eyes were wild with fear. But when he opened the last hatch, waiting for him was a single human soldier, not a fleet, not a gunship, just one, Sergeant Kira Devlin. She had survived the original betrayal on Zeta 4. Her entire unit had been wiped out by Varnak forces during what was supposed to be a peacekeeping mission. She raised her weapon and said just one word. Judgment. The sound of the plasma shot echoed through the tunnel. Above the planet A's, the final command center fell. General Rain received confirmation. "Sir," said the officer beside him, "it's done. Goran Prime is ours." The general said nothing, for a long moment. Then he walked to the communication console and opened a transmission to the Galactic Council. "This is Earth Command. The Varnak have fallen. Their empire is over. Let this be a warning to anyone who thinks humanity will forgive betrayal." He ended the transmission. No emotion. No celebration, only justice. Epilogue. A broken galaxy galactic maps were being redrawn. The Varnak systems now showed a new banner, Earth's flag. Some called it an occupation. Others called it justice. The humans simply called it balance, Earth. Had not asked for war. But when war came, it answered with fury. Now, as ships patrolled the skies of once proud Varnak worlds, a message was carved into the ruins of their great cities. Never betray Earth. And everyone who saw it remembered. Because now they knew what happened when humanity was pushed too far.